Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Build. I hope everyone is well this evening. We are obviously, as we know, continuing tonight with the South Eastern Finecast, London, Brighton and South Coast i3 kit, which, as pointed out to me the other day by Alex, who is not here, specifies SR and BR on the box. My old Wheels one says LBSCR/SR, as do in fact the instructions, which is rather odd. So last week we were fitting some details to underneath the footplate. We just about got the footsteps on, but you can see here they are at a terrible angle, need a lot of fettling. So that is what we are going to get on with first. Soldering iron is on and heating up, but I should probably turn that down. I've been soldering some other things through the week, and had it turned right up, that would not have ended well for the kit. In fact, it would have ended very, very poorly for the kit. So of course, I did this basically at midnight because they were already started. So they're not very well held on, so it shouldn't take much just to melt the solder a bit, and there we go. Put them on with a bit more care. Actually, the surface there is not very nice, and maybe the camera will focus at some point. Okay, so the surface there where it goes is not very nice right now, so we're just going to clean that up with a file, because you always want to be soldering onto a nice clean surface. It helps everything stick better and prevents things being knocked off. So how is everyone today? Have we got any projects on the go? I'm just going to give the top of that a clean up as well. Actually, that's quite mucky looking. Yep, train show was fabulous. Got a Marks, J1E, NEC Hudson, a Tyco Shorty GG1, an 04 which could be from the 40s. Got an N-scale Amtrak, F40 PH from Coach Consist, Bachmann N-scale 060. The Marks Hudson is HO. Excellent, Max. That sounds like an excellent haul. Building DCC command station, car, advanced stuff. Done that a few times myself. In fact, I've sold a few, so you can see it's a bit cleaner now, but we are going to give it a bit more of a clean up. Yes, my train sim colliery has started. Brilliant, A1. At this point, I think we already know. Still looking for a 27-21 and a Buffalo. You'll find one eventually, A1. Yeah, I've got a good idea of what you might be working on, Harry. Haven't you been working on that for as long as I've been streaming now? So this isn't quite sitting on there properly. That may be because I've covered it in solder last week in my haste to get it done last minute. There we go, that's much better. Much better. No, it's been longer. Fair enough. Fair enough, Harry. One day you will finish it. I must admit, I'd have probably given up by now if I were you. Put it to the side, moved on to something else, or just decided it's not worth the extra detailing. Although you'll be glad to know all my kits here actually come with cabs. So that saves a lot of extra work. So I've got $100 worth of marking, free rail track from a hobby shop. So much. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there is plenty of track there. Tried doing that, it wouldn't stop watching me. Fair enough. Isn't half the railway modeller population guilty of procrastinating or avoiding finishing projects, especially through starting something new? Yes, Alex. I would say significantly more than half, actually. In fact, if you find me a railway modeller that hasn't put a project down halfway through to start on something else, I will find you a liar. There we go, that step is on there. Much better now. Good of the camera to focus for us. Yeah, much better. So we're going to do the same to the other side. And then move on to the other bits from this instruction. Such a handy tool, this, until it starts getting clogged up and just spits solder out at you. There we go. I have done this too. I have many engaged things to renumber waiting for electronics, not to mention the double engaged things. I have one of those adjustable soldering pencils. They are so useful. I'm sure they are. Do tell me more, Max. So again, bit of a clean up of the parts. Make sure they are nice and shiny. and that they fit together properly. Which they do. So I say the other side needing a bit of clean up could just be because of me gunking it up with solder last week. Not the same brand though. And so if I can just get one bit to tack, that would be nice. There we go. I'm hoping that we've been dispelling the myth of how hard it is to solder white metal. All you need is the right tools. Show you a photo of it on Thursday, the soldering iron. Awesome. That'll be cool. And there we go, there's that one. Nice and definitely secure. Big blob of solder there to get rid of. So, I have in a separate bag to everything else the parts that had already been separated at the end of the last stream to go on here. We have a step for each side which sit very nicely in recesses, and we have the air tanks which fit around the front of the buffer beam. Oh, not quite around. There that they're meant to sit, and should the buffer beam be further back? That would make the buffer beam quite far back, and that doesn't look right to me. But that does look right as the position in relation to the step. And in fact it fits around the guide on there. Quick question, why don't you like LMS Terriers and GWRE2s? I've got no problem with GWRE2s, but you leave my Terriers alone. There's only one correct livery for a Terrier. That didn't go very well, so we won't be doing them that way. Just tweeted you a video. Excellent. I shall check that out tomorrow. Umber. No, James. Improved engine green. I mean, okay, umber is acceptable as well, I suppose, but they were designed for improved engine green, and improved engine green was designed for them. No, I think I'm going to have to take that solder back off of the file. It was a terrible idea. I wonder if I can get in it with a knife. Of course, to heat this up enough to get that solder to melt for long enough for the wheel to join, the steps to join, I would be melting the white metal. And that really would not be helpful. Designed for improved engine green on the Highland. True locals, that's unspotted to be different IG, though not all appeared in such. They were indeed designed to be an improved engine green on the Highland. Stroudley even described to the board improved engine green as the livery he had used on the Highland. Oh. This should make it a bit easier. That's better. Imagine that an Atlantic in IEG. It would be good, Alex. We have discussed that in the past. It would be very nice. Actually, I don't think it would. I'm not sure it would suit it. Oh yes, I had already put some flux in there, hadn't I? That's what that was. That's not very flat. What was the brown livery called? First batch of V2s were in. The first batch of V2s were in black. They weren't in umber. Well, I've got to go for a sec. Phone's about to die. Okay, A1. But yes, Matt, the E2s wore black. Not umber, which was the brown livery. Only 2 E2s ever wore brown, and they were not from the first batch. I put a badly weathered curvy Milky Bar. This is going well. The problem, of course, being holding this, holding the loco, holding the steps, and holding the soldering iron, and then having to hold the solder as well, the first bit that I'm doing. What are your views on Marsh? A good loco designer. No Stroudley, but he designed some nice Atlantics and a very smart livery. Just not the livery of choice for a terrier. Feels looking good so far. Can't wait to see it finish. What do you think of Scottish pre-grouping railways? All pre-grouping railways are brilliant. Ballast Man, thank you for your comments. Yes, I am a fan of all pre-grouping, really. I have some Caledonian stuff, and I am a big fan of the Caledonian blue livery. Good evening, Luke. I was wondering when you'd join us, since I reminded you of it. Surely the Atlantics were a GNR design mostly. Well, yes, true, but they were designed by the GNR when Marsh worked there. So he may well have had something to do with the design. But yes, you're quite right, the Atlantics were very much a GNR design. GNR with standard Brighton fittings. Well, the H1s were. The H2s were obviously redesigned a bit more. Yeah, Marsh stole it. Marsh didn't steal it. He asked if he could use the drawings to make an Atlantic, and Ivor said yes. Caledonian Blue is jaw-dropping. It's a great livery. Members of British Railways would have seen the Railway Series books. They might have saved an E2 from scrap, or they'd known of the popularity. No, Max, the E2s were not a popular engine at the time, despite the books. They were not popular at all. If they were, one of them would have been saved. There were already preservation railways about. No one was interested in saving an E2. Well, I just finished stage 1 of Weathering certain Southern Region locomotive. Oh, very nice, Luke. Very nice. Should probably get it running first, though. Railways. GNR design, slightly longer wheelbase, and I want to say they were taller. They might have been. The cab was a standard Brighton cab, as were the boiler fittings, so it's possible they were taller, Alex. Still rooting for Terrier and BR Blue. No, Max. Just no. It'd be nice to see more pre-grouping blue liveries. Oh. Just no to BR Blue Terriers. No to BR Blue in general. It's not a great livery. This is one of those times where those ceramic fingers would come in handy. Get a bit more solder in there, I might be able to fill that in like I did the other one. Oh no! Well, that was fun. Not that Southern Region locomotive, the other one I showed you earlier. Oh, fair enough, I'm sure that looks good weathered. Because that was a very nice Southern Region locomotive. Even if it was in the wrong livery. BR Blue on that B12, fictitious, though it may be. No, I'm not a fan of BR Blue on a B12 either. The closest thing we have to E2 is rebuilt Ginty that looks like Thomas. Yep, and may it stay that way. They're not great locomotives at all. No, haha, you finally seen the light. Back shortly, going for a quick shower. Okay, see you later, Alex. Not done yet. It'll look even better when it's done. I'm sure it will, Luke. It'll look fabulous. I know what a great job you do at weathering things. It's held, that'll do. Right then, that's the air tanks on. So the question is, how far did we get? Oh, we got down to... We're working our way through this. If we look up at the instructions... So we've got through all this, all this, and all this. So we are now here. External parts. Fit cab roof. No, I'm not going to fit the cab roof. But what we are going to do is close everything up whilst we get the rest of the kit out. There's the cab roof we don't want. There's the lining instructions. And another version of the body assembly instructions. Interesting. So I've been asked about the chassis earlier. Of course, there is the chassis. Etched and scary looking, but they're really not that scary. And you will hopefully see that when we build it. The camera, that's it, that's what we wanted to do. Romfords. Lots of Romford parts. And some wire, essentially. Put that bag there, because I will want that later. Cool, lots of chat I missed. Yeah, my E2 is rather poorly. Yes, your E2 is rather poorly, Luke. Get on it. So it's austerity, not a ginty. Hello, Killian. Yes, first stream with 100 followers. It's still a number that I can't quite comprehend. But for the first time so far tonight, hydration is important, kids. Also important to Max, we see. Hydration is very important. Yes, 100 subscribers. It's rather strange, that. But it does, of course, now mean... I reckon it's worth putting an aftermarket chassis under my E2. Only if the chassis you've got really is completely knackered, Luke. I reckon, from what you've said, it's fixable. Don't want these. They can go over with the cab roof over there. So yes, 100 subscribers. It's a very scary, incomprehensible number, that. It does mean the channel now has a proper URL though. We are finally youtube.com/Oak Hill Model Railway, which is excellent. I love the fact we've managed that. I don't really want the tyres slipping on the wheels. Glue will fix them, Luke. Honestly. Stream's helped me get into modelling my Ian Kirk North British brake van kit, so thank you. Oh, that sounds excellent. An Ian Kirk kit. Oh, brilliant. I would rather like seeing pictures of that. And, you know, I'm glad the stream is helping getting you into modelling, because, of course, that is what we want from the stream, is to encourage modelling. A lot of people do, of course, sit and do their modelling whilst watching me, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. The more people modelling, the better. So, fit the cab roof, add sensor, or use a cab roof. At no point has it mentioned fitting the cab floor, which I kind of think should come before fitting the cab roof. But that could just be me, you know. In fact, these numbers on here don't line up with what is displayed on the image. So perhaps I'm using the wrong instructions, and the ones that I found earlier are actually the correct ones. There we go, cab floor. Let's have a look at these other instructions, because that would be very annoying if these are the correct ones. Yeah, these are the right ones. That's irritating. It's very important the following assembly instructions take place in the right sequence. So why is there another set of instructions that are wrong and have a different sequence on them? Your streams. I'm at 250 followers at the moment. Excellent, Max. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do at 100 subscribers. Yeah, that's why I wanted to hit it, actually. Luke, that is why 100 was my target, was so that I could have my custom URL. So halfway through the build, we're switching instructions to the right instructions because we've decided that's a good idea. Modelling right now. Not a physical model, but will be. Ah, doing some CAD work then. Post them on my Twitter when I'm finished, hopefully by the end of this week. Excellent. No point getting wet if you're not standing on the ballast. Yes, excellent. I'm glad they should be on your Twitter. I shall be checking that out, Ballast Man. I believe I follow you on Twitter. I know I've seen your stuff on there in the past. So we don't want that. Let's see where we're at. Assemble. Yeah, that's fine. We've done all that. Assemble left, right. Assemble foot plate. Yeah, done that. Done that. Done that. Okay, it looks like we're still in the right... It looks like we've discovered this at just the right time, and that in fact this is the step where they differ from the other instructions. Because now we have to fit the cab floor, the back head, the brake standard, which is somewhere around, is there? No, that's not the brake standard, that is the reversing handle. There is the brake standard. These are all parts that would be much easier to fit after painting. But because I'm soldering, I don't want to ruin it and paint over bits that I need to solder. 1000 is probably scary, 2000 even, but that does sound like a great challenge. Happy to be at 36. Well, yeah, I've been happy with every subscriber I've had. There's never been a number that I'm not happy with, because honestly, I just think it's mad that people want to subscribe to me. So, cab floor, back head, brake standard, reversing handles, the main body. Cab sides may now be fitted as main. So these sides shouldn't be on yet. They're the only thing that are fitted that should have been done after this, by the looks of it. But we can live with that. I accept no responsibility for that being wrong, because clearly that is the instructions' fault for being there twice. Now I can't get to that hole from underneath, and it actually wants to go that way. So what I think I want to do is solder this on before putting it in. Yes, how do you deal with the painting soldering sequence? Usually I would paint the inside of the cab before doing it if I'm gluing, but I'm not, I don't want to be soldering, I don't want to paint it and then be soldering where I've painted, because obviously that's not going to work. Good evening all. Note in the early discussion, Reed Atlantic's Marshall's Chief Assistant Mechanical Engineer at Doncaster 1896-94, before which he was Assistant Works Manager at Swindon. Yes, he was, Stephen. What was the engine lady killers putting pattern station? Can't seem from class thing like Great Western, that's all I know. I have no idea. Don't even know how I even got to 110, didn't even know I had so many. Don't even do anything. Lady killers was King's Cross, not Paddington, surely. So you all know the station. Apart from Max, does anyone know the engine? Because I don't. It's good to have everyone here anyway. How are you this evening, Stephen? It is very good to see you. Just playing with the D1 kit briefly. So yes, James, the way I deal with the painting and soldering is usually all this stuff gets painted first. There's obviously the back head from the D1 waiting to go in and nicely painted. But that kit was started a long time ago, before I did any white metal soldering, and I had every intention of gluing everything together. Whereas now I know I have the brush techniques. I could get in there and paint them in situ, so I will instead do that. I'll just not attach the cab properly for now, so I can lift the cab roof off and get in there with the brush. This is coaches with brown and tan. After we watch the film, sure they're all in the eye. Okay, worrying if you can see me. Okay. Crabtree. Hi, I'm Josh. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the stream. How are you this evening? It's good to see new faces in the chat. They even have full interiors. Do you glue the cab roof? I will, yes, because I honestly don't see any way of soldering neat enough. And yes, Harry, they even have cab interiors. I bet you hate that J1, that J even more now, don't you? Now here's the interesting thing. How do I hold this properly? There's my soldering block. Not quite the right height, that's a shame. Will be easier to hold though. Oh look, it's holding itself. Let's get the solder on before it falls. Ah, and there it goes. There we go. Thanks and good. Excellent. I'm glad you are good, Josh. Oh, I've pushed it all back into the pile. That was silly of me. So yes, whilst we have maybe get the cab detail in first, like brakes. Well, there's the brake standard. There's the reversing gear, which goes in a hole there. It's going to be a fun one to fit. But yes, whilst we have lots of people here, I will announce properly. I have been doing some extra videos for the channel. So for the next few weeks at least, we shall see some extra videos appearing on Tuesdays. This week we are going to have a look at the D1 kit I am building. Which, after a long time being an almost finished paused kit, has jumped right back up the queue because it is going to form the centre part of an exhibition piece that someone is building for a historical society doing a history of Uckfield. And this year their exhibition is focusing on the railway station. Not even answering that. So this piece has not been very well cast and would have been much easier to fit earlier. But of course, as we discovered, this kit had 2 sets of instructions in it. And we were using the wrong one. It's almost there. Yeah, so for the next few weeks at least, there should be a video on Tuesday, which I'm calling the random extra video for the moment. A video on Thursday, which will cover what's happened in the previous week's live stream, and then the live stream on the Sunday. It's almost like I want to give some content for all these new followers we've picked up this week. Oh, slightly unweathered my USA tank as well. Unweathered it, Luke? What did you do that for? Right. Seriously guys, make sure you're reading the right instructions. It's a bit heavy, fair enough. Unweathered, get a splendid score in Scrabble if it were a real word. Couldn't see the numbers, I don't see why that's a problem. That just means it could have been any USA tank. There we go, it's in. So that's now in. You can just about see it down there, in well enough to be holding itself in place. And so flux and solder. There we go. Hello Christopher, welcome. It is good to see you. We finally have a moderator here to look after everyone. Hydration is important, kids. Can't wait until I work on my in-scale layout again, needing attention. Luckily I've got the final piece of tracking set up. It's going to consist of 2 leaps and that's it. Just for running trains. Sounds good, Max? Sounds good. I miss having my loopy loop layout. Good to see another engager. Yeah, proud to be one. Model many other gauges though. Luke, how many N-gauge locos do you have? I'm not sure you count as an N-gauger, to be honest. Right then. So now we need to get this to drop in round there, which it does very nicely. And get some solder on. I'm back smelling with mint and roses, so am I. So how was Duxford, Christopher? Hope you have had a very good day. The pictures I've seen seem good at least. There we go. And and flip it over to the other side. I mean, one working would be a good start, Luke. Do you even have that? But your ratio of double O to N makes you a bit more of a double O modeler at the moment, is my point. So there we go, the starts of a detailed cab. Don't get too angry about that, Harry. It's not good for you. Oh, I have knocked the charger out. We are losing power. Hang on. There we go. We are charging again. Probably best if this doesn't die whilst we're streaming. Did that before. It wasn't good. There it is. Now, the fact that this doesn't quite line up concerns me. Double O and N. Little EM for pub layout. Not right now, but I will. Don't do anything gauge though. Beautiful. P499 SM34 and SM26. No promises. I am 00 and 009 for those that don't know. Car, the detail on that is excellent. So very happy I have a proper one. If the motor's on the front set of wheels, then it's fine. That's even got compensation gear in it. This is a significantly better chassis than the one the D1 has. You know what? There's a good idea. I have sat next to me big pile of blue tack. So that can go in at the correct height, be held with blue tack, and then we can solder from the inside. There's some nice easy to get to bits here that should allow us to make an initial join, and then we don't have to worry about it falling out whilst we get it held in securely. Working on 009 logo at the moment for printing. Is that the one that you tweeted earlier that I retweeted, Killian? Because if so, I want one. Wouldn't turn down gauge 1 steam lions. No. Would more traditional solder work for white metal? I don't know. I mean, depending on how good you are at it, yes, you could, but the problem is that the more traditional solders melt at a higher temperature than the white metal, so you have to get the solder on there before the white metal heats up. This stuff melts at 70 degrees and is much more easier to manage. Wouldn't turn down those yet. That's the one, yeah, also going to be available in 16mm. Excellent. But yeah, so Luke, about you being an N-gauge modeller and me having more O-gauge, working O-gauge models than you have N-gauge, and me definitely not being an O-gauge modeller. Some people weld white metal with a soldering iron. There are indeed some people that do that, but that's hard. Yes, yes it is. Are you a part-time O-gauge modeller? Well, I mean, since you ask, James, if you just lie, then they're really handy. Yes, they are, Max. My iron is turned down as low as it can go at the moment. Since you ask, James, I'm sure no one will be surprised to learn that I've got one of these in O-gauge. And a very nice model it is too. However, that's not the only O-gauge thing that I have. It's the only working O-gauge thing I have at the moment. But I do have, in progress, a significantly bigger O-gauge model. Which has most of a chassis. And a tender chassis built so far. Tis rather outside my normal area and era, isn't it? But it will make a really nice shelf model, I think. I've had that since long before I was a pre-grouping modeler, and it was going to sit on top of my stock cupboard and never move. How much would you sell that A4 for? I'm not taking Skittles, Luke. Let's put it that way. Post-grouping and LNER, I know. As I say, it was before I was a pre-grouping model. I modelled the 50s at the time, so, you know. We all have things we regret. But it will get finished one day. So I'm going to solder the cab roof together next, because although we're not going to fit it right now, it'd be nice for it to not be constantly falling apart. But yeah, it's been quite a few years since that A4 kit has been touched. It actually has a thread on RM Web in the kit building and scratch building section, to give you an idea of how long it's been since I worked on it. You know, you can go and track that down. I think I actually started it whilst having Oak Hill, but mainly because it would be a shame not to have it finished. And since I've got it, I have a chat that can't see video. Internet at B&B is poor, so we'll continue to mod. By the way, folks, 11 watching, 3 like, smash like buttons. I have video too. Modelling the 50s. Well, at least you regret it. Mainstream. Yes, Killian. Modelling the 50s. In fact, my Hailsham layout was originally destined to be a 1950s layout. Thankfully it never got finished in that guise, and so will instead be pre-grouping. For more on my Hailsham layout, go back through my channel. I did a video a long time ago. Last April, I think. It's really due an update. I just need to film it. I'm going to fit the whistle to the top of the cab whilst we have the cab roof there. But it is got a bit of flash on it, so we're just going to take that off. Not a huge amount. Just a little bit down the side. You expect that with little parts like that though. I don't know why you expect it with little parts, but they definitely seem to get it more than the bigger parts do. By then, maybe we won't fit the whistle just now. No, I can't see it, so we'll fit that when I find it. Never mind. I will find it. Right, so boiler parts may now be fitted. Smoke box, door, clamp, chimney, tank vents, fillers, dome, stand pipes and safety valve. Lots of parts to fit next. Well, who's it by? I'll finish for you, the A4. DJM, the A4, I believe, off the top of my head. I feel like pre-grouping becoming trendy and hip. Last thing, I presume many of us call ourselves, but oh well. Yeah, I'm certainly not trendy and hip. I'm overweight in my 30s and have 2 kids who very much like to remind me that I am not trendy and hip. Now, I was supposed to drill out for the chimney during the week, wasn't I? I might have forgotten to do that. Busy filming so many other videos. I do, however, have the correct drill bit, but I can't exactly put the drill on at this time of night. It's enough RTR, the people aren't intimidated, but it's secure enough that actual modelling has to be done. Yes, I like the fact that, I mean, when I started doing pre-grouping, it was much more of a challenge. Doing stuff like this is the reason I got into pre-grouping. Obviously not this specific part of using a drill bit by hand, because I'm doing it at 10 o'clock at night and don't want to upset the neighbours. But I got into pre-grouping for the challenge of it. I really want to model 1950s BR NWR train killers. It might have to be a thing now since I have a mountain of really useful track. Just have to get some second radius markling curves and a few other items. Sounds good, Max. Something I am known to say a lot is get on with it then. That's exactly the reason my planned double layout is not pre-grouping, even though I prefer to have a pre-grouping layout. Speaking of alphanumeric locos, I've just self-sleeping off stream studying the final scene of Lady Killers. I'm afraid I can't match the front end of the loco briefly seen to any LNER class. That and hydration is important, kids. Yes, I'm known to say that a lot as well. In fact, I'm building up a selection of things I say a lot for the website. So you will know, if you go on to my website, oakhillmodelrailway.co.uk, I get to plug myself on this stream because it's my stream. And I have 100 subscribers. That feels so good. underneath the website title I have a random banner that shows a random one of my sayings. So if there's anything you pick up on that I haven't got on there, do let me know. J50 at one point and something like an 04. Sounds like I need to see this video. Oh. See, it is at least the right size drill bit I'm using. It's just a shame that I forgot to do it during the week, so that I have to do it by hand and can't really use the drill. Damn this having neighbours. I mean, we could get around this by me moving to a big house in the country where I don't have neighbours. But that needs a lot more people to go and sign up to my Patreon. I'm full of the plugs tonight. So remember kids, don't forget to drill out the holes you're supposed to drill out with the electric drill during the week. I was going to start mainstream, but there was something about pre-grouping. Not painful kits, but too late now. Channel 102 now, for a row channel for all week repeating analysis on some rather obvious camera remote click from the end of one of them. It's a bit of a downer. For a week, oh dear. Try me on brief encounter. 102, Luke. Said 104 when I checked earlier. That's not good. Why would you even tell me that? I mean, honestly, I don't actually mind. I'm just honoured anyone wants to be subscribed to me. So, you know, whilst we're on that, thank you all for being subscribed and being awesome. And if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. And whilst you're at it, like the video, because likes do help spread the videos further. The more likes I get on everything, the more YouTube will suggest me to others. And the channel growing is never a bad thing. The more the channel grows, the more effort I have to put in, the better content you get. And yes, I do feel like I have to put in more effort, which is why we're going to have 2 videos a week. Now that we're at 100 subscribers. The man needs a reamer, not a big house in the country. Well, yes, Stephen, but you know, how was I meant to know you had 104? But yes, I do need a reamer, that would be much better. Although I would also like a big house in the country. I currently have a little house in the country with neighbours, so a big house in the country without neighbours would be wonderful. Well, I suppose once I'm in the new recording studio and it's all soundproofed, being loud on stream shouldn't be so much of a problem. But yes, proper tools. One day I will own them. It's almost there. Logo from the Lady Killers looks very much like an L1. So you're thinking of one of the first scenes of Train Killers. The one on the passenger train, that is. I don't know what I'm making. I kind of know what you mean, but making videos becomes scary for me. You know what? That's another reason I did this. Really know one that... Is that a tank engine? Yep, that's our train. Yeah, 264 I think. Yeah. I mean, I don't think of the LNER when I think of an L1, I think of the Southern, but there we go. Don't want to do that too hard. I'm going to break something, and it won't be the bit I want to break. There we go. We're through! We have a nice round hole that goes all the way. And it fits, look. Well, hey. That calls for some hydration to celebrate. I think of the 4402. Glad I'm not the only one, Killian. Someone send me this video and I'll be able to tell you what these locos are. Oh, I think Hornby Double over 264 take might want to save up for one detail a bit. Yes, L1 in single where Alec Guinness is taking notes in King's Cross. You're all better at loco identification than me. I mean, I can identify a terrier and some other Brighton locos. Couple of southeastern ones. After that, I'm pretty rubbish, to be honest. Right then, back to actually making things. Shall we solder this on now, yeah? Because that feels like a worthy achievement. Right, that bit's holding that there. Let's get another little dab on the other side and then try and actually get it all nice and neat and proper. There we go, a little bit of file to neaten that up and that should be quite nice. Nothing like a chimney to make it look like an engine. Well said, Stephen, I quite agree, it really does make it look like an engine, doesn't it? Doesn't need anything else. Amazing how much the stack suddenly changed it to look like a locomotive. Hit like face. I think of a Soviet loco. Oh well. A Soviet loco, you saying, Christopher? Like that one? Pretty bad at identifying much after 1900. Yeah, fair enough, Killian. Yeah, it's because Lady Killers wasn't filmed at London Bridge. No, it was not. Thanks for that. Oh, I've just seen that Pico will be making 009 hopper wagon and they'll be useful for a ballast quarry. They would, but I don't have a ballast quarry in 009. Now, this did fit last week. We tried this, I remember. Let's not knock the loco over. Maybe we tried the other dome that we don't want. This one is all horrid on the bottom. cut most of it off because there is loads there, and then get it with the file afterwards. Yeah, that'd be alright with a bit of filing. Can't wait until the diamond handrails are on. Snail beach hoppers, yes, I'll have one. What do you have in 009? So I might just have to do that, James. Right, that fits through, just got to get it cleaned up properly. So, more than one 009. How come private owner wagons on narrow gauge route? We've had this discussion before, Luke. Okay, oh no, never private owners on narrow gauge. That's what we've had the discussion with before, Killian. The lag missed 009 answer. Might just have to do what? Right. What I said was, you're asking questions that I can easily answer by grabbing something out from under the layout again, so I might just have to go and do that. So in 009, I have a fancy little German loco from a starter set that I got mainly for the track and the wagons, to be honest, but it's a very nice loco. I think I paid £100, loco, wagons, track. The wagons being bolsters, which came with loads of sticks. For another German one that was got for donating its chassis. Very nice runner. I have a Bachmann Scar Lowy, backdated as an 040. And with a smoke box door backhead detail printed from Shapeways. I have a War Department Baldwin because, you know, doesn't everyone? Still don't get how those bolsters don't derail. Neither do I, they're so light. I have a Thomas the Tank Engine mid-90s die-cast Duke, motorised, and runs absolutely beautifully. .3D printed vertical boiler loco on a Kato chassis. I would show you the one I'm building, but it's kind of a little bit in pieces at the moment. But will end up as an 062 SR van, brake van, and a bogey open. So that is my 009 collection. I have a single loop of track that they can run on. Everything does run. This was an excellent build, and details can be found on my RM web thread for the Nutley, Crowborough and Groombridge Light Railway of how I did it. I mean, the original die-cast loco cost me £1. The chassis cost me 25, I think. First LNER, now Germany. Goodness, I know, James, it's shocking, isn't it? So I got that nice big German one for the sake of the wagons and the track and the controller, which is actually now my main analogue controller. Hydration is important. It's probably weighted really well. They're not max, they are unbelievably light. I'm thinking my loco might use a Scarlowy chassis. Isn't Scarlowy locomotive HO scale? Never go wrong with the bash. 009 Duke, swear, what do you do? Shells are locomotives, you just need the base. From, so you're going to run your 009 on DCC, or did I dream that? Right then, the Scarlowy is, yeah, back when USA claim that all their Thomas stuff is HO, but it's not, it's very much 4mm. So it is absolutely fine. Looks fine alongside my Duke. If you look at them in the TV series, Scarlowy is that much smaller than Duke. No, they are not weighted well at all, Max. They are unbelievably light. I think, what do you do with the shells of locomotives you just need the base from? Get rid of them. I mean, you most of my chassis, if they're not, like this one, I bought the chassis on its own off Amazon. My one that I'm bashing is an N-gauge Castle chassis. If I have a loco body that I'm not going to use, if I've got someone I can give it to, I do. Otherwise it goes in the bin. On the Windows 7 computer, no sound, but hearing you on my iPhone app. I blame Windows then, Max. That's very strange. Fletcher Jennings did the A-class several times anyway. So if it was HO, it wouldn't matter. Well, that solves that problem. The next problem is justifying it on my layout in as-built condition, because the layout is supposedly 1915. Now we have something slightly bigger to work on still. We haven't forgotten about it, hopefully. I hope you're all enjoying seeing my other modelling this evening. Now these are always awkward to get a file at when they get flash in bits like this. But of course, if you don't get it off, then the dome won't sit right, so you're leaning rather far forwards there. Of course, the good thing is, if you do take off too much material, you can use filler to replace anything you need to replace. It's not the end of the world. Could have cut whatever cab was fitted off for small clearance. No, it won't get away with that on my layout. It's a it's all open. Runs through the Ashdown Forest. It's a log-in line. The line was proposed in reality, but it wouldn't have been narrow gauge. Never built. I don't know if it actually ever... I don't think it ever got royal assent to be built. Of course, the forest it would have cut down is now protected, so that's probably a good thing. Have you dealt with wood coaches kits? I know you use hard paper, but if you have any tips, also cut away from yourself. I have not done any kits made of wood. I am well aware of cutting away from myself, but you get more power if you cut to yourself, which is always a problem. But I don't know if you've noticed, but my thumb and my finger are actually rather badly cut up this week. So, yes. You really should cut away from yourself, he says while still cutting towards himself. Right, I think the easiest thing to do here is going to be to extend this hole backwards a bit. And a bit more. Use a wire brush on a Dremel on the model. Looks a million times better. The only thing you have to do is degrease it, which could use a bit of soap and water. Again, noise level. Sitting all of 5 foot away from the wall with my neighbour's house. Let's come out this way a bit. This is purely because this flash is all built up around the bottom here, where I can't get to it. There we go, I think we're there. Yes, I think we're there. Funnily enough, my loco worked in a forest in Lancashire, hence how she got named Queen of the Forest. Oh, excellent. More reason for me to have one then, Killian. Really ought to use soap for degreasing, leaves the residue. Best thing is rubbing alcohol or white spirit. Okay, the wire brush is a good idea though. Polishing white metal prior to priming or soldering works really well. Yes, it does. For my next trick, I'm going to make that stay in place. You're all making this odd assumption I have a working Dremel. we go. Loads of flux. I know these things because I nearly ruined a pair of white metal Pullman bogies a year ago by not doing the things I've recommended. Yeah, always a good way to learn that. There we go. Even more like a loco. Smoke box door to fit. You know what, I'm going to clean that with a file. Because I know me, I'll take off way too much with a knife. Again, I don't know if you can see the state of my fingers. That looks okay. And she fits. There's the clamp again, little bits like this, lots of flash. But white metal flash is usually quite easy to deal with. I haven't got a Dremel, I have a Nemel, not Dremel. Don't have one of them either, Alex. Yeah, although it works really well after the fact. I got that tip from die-cast car enthusiasts. I'm not those metal shop mates who has tried it and can't see why some people want bare metal cars display. Chance like that, I guess. Same techniques applied to Ertals. Well, yeah, they could. I'll watch those Matchbox Stray videos. Very satisfying, yeah. Although I wouldn't want to touch the Fat Controller's car at all. Is that worth a bit of money, is it? Right. You're going to be miles out, aren't you? Oh, no. You're not. There we go, hole goes all the way through now. You know what the hole going all the way through means, guys? It means I can drop some flux in it and solder it from behind. That's the wrong handle to be pointing down, it should be that one. This is going to go terribly. And what do we think the chances are any of that has dropped down? It has. It's still too hot at the minute though, and it's still liquid in there. No, the paint job is nearly mint, 99% mint. Oh, fair enough, Max. A few including Bertram, which I can't bring myself to make into proper 009 England. Oh, you know you want to, Killian. You know, I mean, I've drawn so I can print proper England in early or late conditions. Eventually, that's fair enough, Max. Yeah, I mean, I would if I had one. To be fair, I do have the fat controller stood on Oak Hill actually. There's already an England on Shapeways, I believe, Killian. There we go, dried out. All nice and sorted. Burnt the white metal a bit. But it's on there. The logo has a face. Or it will do once we stick it on. Now remember kids, there's no such thing as too much flux. Just too much solder afterwards. Kind of wish I could get into that from behind. Let's lift you guys up. What happened to what what's that? Mystical things. Since I know what makes them. So the model is looking awesome. It's expensive. Gem, TJH Garden Arrow, albeit hard stop. Yeah, I mean this white metal. This kit is still available, Will. So there are still people out there making white metal kits. The link to the website for the manufacturer is in the description down below. Has quite a nice selection of white metal kits for the southern region. I believe some LNER as well. Maybe more. There we go. Now it has a face. Should check out T1E2H3, search for Smudger Killian, best means guys genius right source outcome is unexpected. I'm aware of T1E2H3 Max. Not seen flux. No such thing as too much flux. There's another one for the website, I think. Okay, James, I'll try and remember that. Best place to buy a Marsh smoke box store. Anyone that makes a kit will probably sell your part. Southeastern Finecast certainly sell parts. Website hasn't worked properly for over a month, Gary. Oh, I was on it earlier, Alex. What's wrong with it? Literally on it earlier today. Do you believe I've seen it now? It's even Tony Wright uses glue for smoke box doors. Well, solder. It works fine. Yep, some LAR in there looking splendid. Definitely a Brighton face. Just googled LBSC i3 4 worked on the LMR. Really? No, I wouldn't. Wow, I can see why you wouldn't want to change your Bertram then, Killian. Hasn't worked for me for well over a month. Yeah, I was on it earlier, Alex. Check again. But yeah, Alex also mentioned DJH. They are still going. They make white metal kits. I know I'm really throwing it all out there today. And their white metal kits, whilst very, very expensive, do have some very nice castings. Very nice castings indeed. That's on all my devices. Same here. The DGH are snobby and won't sell you parts. No, no they won't. Which is a shame. But you mentioned them and the kit was nearby, so... yeah, very nice castings from DJH. Right, I'm going to click on the South Eastern Finecast website again quickly. I am on the South Eastern Finecast site. It's working for me right now. And in fact, it wasn't someone looking at it last week from the stream as well. So yeah, it's working for me. Killian, why don't you go to... still have it as Bertram, just as a suggestion. What were we on next? Chimney, tank vents and filler caps. There's a tank vent. There's a tank vent. There's a filler cap. And there's a filler cap. Now we should, yeah, we can get to them from underneath. Seth, Midland 064, Tank Tower, Seth, partner, branch lines, Newcastle partners, arrive hits from that federal boundary along with, I believe, some of the Kaiser range. Yes, Stephen, they have indeed. They make a wonderful team reintroducing those kits. I have seen some of the reintroduced K's kits. They are much better than the originals. Very tight fit, that. No, on both Chrome and Edge, I've just been told to replace the HTML with your own site. That's very strange, Alex. I know what the problem is there. And we could probably get it resolved for you, but now is not the time for tech support. Bug me about it tomorrow, Alex, and we'll see what we can do. Sounds like a plan. Theory. Garybot 2.0 has now stolen Seth. Seriously, someone was looking through it last week whilst we were on stream. We were discussing it. I remember that being a thing that happened. I think I can see where they are. You know what, I've got a big blob of blue tack here. Why don't I use that to hold it upright? Gonna get a new sticker solder out. Okay. Are we going to paint this week? Will the paint be saved for next week? The painting will be saved for when it's done. Max, whoops, didn't notice I've been swapped to my personal channel. Neither did I, Alex. So you're all right. There we go. They don't feel like they're in at all. No, they're not. I think I'm going to have to put a dab in on the top. I'm going to watch Rise and Fall of Hornby Double on YouTube after this. Confirm if there is a 264. Their 264 is an L1. If it is, I'll buy one soon. Just got to save up fast. I think the 00264 is a BR standard. Did BR or an either or something like that? Did BR have a standard 264 tank? If they did, it's that, I'm sure of it. These want to go on this way. And they got a flat side on them, so they can sit over the tank edge properly. However, they are their handle on the top is slightly longer one side than the other, which is, I believe, to the front. Modern day Hornby do an L1 though. There we go then, you want a modern day Hornby one, not a Hornby 001. Can't decide if I want to run my 009 DCC. I mean, you run everything else DCC, so why not? Is my answer, Luke. Oops, don't want to be burning stuff unintentionally. Did BR have standard 264T? Asks a former 50s modeler. Designed and made you, but that's, there we go. Of course they did. that soldering worked well. In fact, I think I have one, Stephen. Painted in a preservation livery of green, mind. Yeah, that hole's now filled up with solder, but this isn't very soldered. That's helpful, isn't it? Right. We'd be running more than one loco at once though. I mean, my A3 isn't DCC yet, but will be. Personally, I find DCC easier for wiring. I don't have to worry about isolation joints. There we go, it's stuck in this time. Actually got down far enough to solder it, so they are now soldered on. Right then, I'm back. Welcome back, A1. Take it your phone now has a charger. Always good. Standpipes and safety valves. Do I even have... I mean, I've got to have it somewhere. But can I find it? That's the question. I know where it is. I've been wondering about that all week. It's just been sat at the back of the workbench all week, and I've been thinking, that's got to have come off there. What is it? In theory, I should have another one. But I can't see it. No, definitely can't see it. And that one doesn't appear to just be sat over the back of the workbench. Nope. Well, that is a shame. Sure, I'm having to think about isolating stuff as I'm using electrofrogs on analog, but DCC is expensive and computery. It doesn't have to be expensive, Killian. It really doesn't. Computery, yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. When I used to sell my DCC controllers, they were £45 each. And I mean, the chips I buy are a tenner each, so when you compare them to the cost of a loco, again, they're not much. So DCC does not have to be expensive, but yes, it is quite computery. What I may do, get an L1 shell off eBay, 264 chassis, 3 rail, kit bash. 2, to create the loco in the beginning scene of Train Killers. I've been wanting to model that loco since I heard about the film in late 18. The film is older though by a few months. Sounds like a good plan, Max. Yeah, I thought you were going to do one of your amazing dad jokes. Well, I guess we're safe from that joke. Well, isn't that computery? Even I can do it. Just keep pressing buttons so it does something. Also, I can see you've made progress. I have made progress, A1. If you want cheap DCC, look into... yeah. James is right there. But no, you were safe from my dad jokes for now. I do have to make them occasionally, though. It is kind of the law of being a dad. Right, let's have another look for this other one. Go through every part here. No, 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 no. Definitely can't see it. Have another look in the box just in case. Also no, it is not there. Well, it's not in any of my parts bags. So I guess I'll have to pinch one from something else at some point in the future. Never mind, I can do that. Grabbing some crisps now, chips from where I'm from. Good idea, Max. I'm going to grab some hydration, because hydration is important. As we enter our final hour of the stream. And safety valve. We're cheating with this one. This is it's a plastic one. So that will have to be glued. Can't solder plastic. Well then. There it is. We can do the other standpipe. That makes me happy. I think I've got another whistle in there as well, actually. Appear to have two. That's handy, isn't it? Boxes of things are always useful to have. Right, that's still a bit tight. Well, I guess I'm a bit late, am I? Is that a 444 tank? No, it's a 442. A very nice 442 it is, as well. In fact, 442s are nice in general. I do like Atlantics. These ones especially. These had some very impressive records, the i3s. Such as when one hauled the Sunny South Express from Brighton to Liverpool. It's a joint service between the LBSC and the LNWR. They were doing some trials. And one of these tank engines took the whole express up to Liverpool without refuelling. Outperformed every loco the LNWR had for fuel efficiency. They were rather impressed by it. I agree. Apropos Atlantics. H1, H2 class was splendid too. Yes, they were, James. I have my H1 sat on Oak Hill at the moment. My H2 is not. It needs backdating. Although that is just a repaint job because I have the southern one, which is still in Brighton condition. First CP locomotives in the country. Yeah, they were indeed. So I couldn't see locomotive 4.2, but that's not. I thought they were bad. Was that the I2? The I1 and I2 were bad. The I3s were great. If you're so sure Seth would sell me some parts, what's their email? I do not know what Dave's email address is, but he would happily sell you parts. He will make parts special for you. Right. His email address I shall post into chat. Please include phone number and postal address. It says on there. Good of it to delete the K off the end. Let's do that again. There we go. I have a VHS tape 4-part set that was made in the 80s or 90s and had a lot of pre-grouping locos. Awesome, Max. That's alright, Harry, not a problem. So what were we moving on to next when we thought, oh yes, we were moving on to doing the safety valve, weren't we? Which are stolen from a Bachmann E4 because I stole the ones from this for something else. I think I got this E4 about a week after stealing the safety valve from this kit, actually. So there we go, something's been glued. Could he make a J kit for me? No, if he had a J kit he would, but he doesn't, and he won't compete with people who are already out there, because there's no point. Assembly of the coal rails is best achieved off the body and then fitted as a completed unit to the bunker. Coal grills to rear cab window should also be fitted from chassis H. Ah yes, there they are. They will probably be easier to fit before fitting the coal rails. And there's two. I'll have to get the name of it in case if you're interested in buying a copy of the VHS tape set. That would be great if you could, Matt. So what safety valve is on your E4? That E4 has donated its chassis to another project. A project that at the moment hasn't got anything more than a chassis. Because I have 3 E4s? Yes, I'm sure it's 3 that I've got. It might be 4. Wait, where's the kit to compete with? you know what J kit I'm on about. He won't make another one because Golden Arrow have one. Hydration's important, kids. The thing is, Harry, all these manufacturers are very local to me. They all know each other. So he's not going to compete with Golden Arrow because they know each other. How am I going to do this successfully? Oh, I keep knocking my pin into the flux. Wonder if I could get just a little bit of solder around the outside. And melt it through the etch, because obviously I can get the etch a bit warmer than I can the white metal. So we'll try that first. I understand, but I can still dream. You can dream. This would be easier to use 2 hands to lift you up. Get the grill in place. Focus. There we go. Kind of worked. It's not quite straight, but close enough for rock and roll. What happened to the person doing the Midland LBSCR Pullmans? That would be Ian McCormack. He sometimes visits this stream. His EB models, I believe he's going to show off some more of them at the Brighton Circle AGM this year, which is in October. But yes, he does sometimes come to this stream, Will, so it's possible you could see him here at some point in the future, I think. already flat. But his company is called EB Models. And we actually had a stream supported by him the other day, in which he'd provided some products for review. There we go. Sorted. Can't see Joe and Golden Arrow sites on there. It is on their eBay page, James. I don't know if the website's been updated for quite a while. He's got a few more kits that aren't on there, including some that I have. Future streams. What happens if you super glue? Let it dry and then solder it. I assume you get lots of super glue fumes and choke. Jimmy Mark Miles still makes them terribly expensive and he doesn't cover all the LBSC Pullmans. Gar, I forgot Mark models even existed. Don't imagine gluing and soldering is a good idea. Glue will react. Yes, it will. As I imagine you'll get lots of fumes off of it. So, coal rails that it advises me to construct out of 3 parts before putting them on the loco. I cannot see this being easy by any stretch of the imagination. I put my knife up there. I mean, even if I get these on there happily, all I can see happening is that they won't quite be straight, no matter what I do, and they won't fit in the holes. But if it tells us to do it that way, we'll do it that way. That's completely covered in flux now. Let's clean that off. There may be no such thing as too much flux, but when it's on this end of the pin, it's a problem. Don't imagine gluing in something. I might mention your portholes aren't quite straight. Like, I'm not sure the technical term. Windows. I'm aware they are not quite straight, but they're as straight as my abilities will allow me to get them max. Make a jig, use your soldering blocks, set square for the first set, tack solder on the outside. No, I'm talking about the even older problems that were sold to the MR and then sold low into the railway. The built old cars, just want to know. Yes, sorry to ask, can you look at a website quickly? I don't know, but the kits are a bit too cheap. Again, sorry to ask. Not really whilst I'm streaming, A1. Drop me a message on Twitter and I'll have a look in the morning. Yeah, Will, the early ones were being made by Ian, who frequents the stream. That's not straight. I won't finish that sentence because I'll make a joke. I'm not even sure I can use the block as a jig, Alex. Bedtime? Oh, good night, Stephen. Thank you for coming. God, I hope that's just me that had that quality drop there. So PVA in the portholes and then solder them. No, I'm not going to glue and then solder because that's just going to react, and glue doesn't like having that done to it. They are fine. But yes, the two brass kits that were on RM Web of the early Brighton Pullmans were Ian McCormack. I see your link been sent, A1. I will check that out for you in the morning. Or after the stream, depending on how awake I'm feeling. Well, this is going as well as I expected. Right, that goes that way. That doesn't go in the flux, that would be silly. Not bad. Yeah. This is fun. This bit. If I get them anywhere near to being to fit in, I'll be very happy. Well, they're together. Okay then. They're together and they fit. I guess I will have to eat my words a bit. I really did not see that coming. There's my pin. Dropped some solder on the inside of these. Hold it this way round so there's some chance of the camera seeing what I'm doing. Okay, I'm never getting solder on that one. Blue tack. Something tells me that one's going to be no good anymore. Do you have the link for Golden Valley models on eBay? Oh, James, you mean Golden Arrow? Yeah, you mean Golden Arrow, James. I wonder if I can remelt this and get it to join up to that leg that I can't see. Okay, I believe we're all attached there. Still can't find the correct name. There we go. Sorted. Excellent. Coal rails are fitted. I did not expect that to go quite so well. Both etch and cast steps are provided in kit. Build a choice of using the etch steps, bend and assemble as per the drawing. Note the rear steps are backed by a casting. If fitting the cast front steps, it will be necessary to use the short air tanks. Ah, okay. That's why the short air tanks exist. So what it's telling me now is that there are indeed etched steps on that chassis. I would have used them if I'd have known that. Remaining detail items: air tanks, sandbox fillers, Westinghouse pump and bracket, lubricator and buffers may now be fitted. We are surprisingly close to having all the details on, guys. We have half an hour to go. Let's see if we can get this body finished. Hydration is important. So we don't want these ones. These are later ones. The Brighton ones go straight down. And go in those holes that I've filled with solder when I was... Yeah. I can still see this one. So that was good how I filled that hole up with solder. Need to stop doing that, I'm going to break something. Oh, I threw that drill bit away, didn't I, because it snapped. I'm not going to have a smaller one that's going to fit in this now. If I heard correctly, the Bluebell were looking to get an E2 tank engine instead of Bluebell. You did not hear correctly. Of all the places that would want an E2, the Bluebell won't be one of them. The Bluebell Railway and Thomas the Tank Engine do not get on very well. Well, they're better than they used to. Right. That's deep enough. Come here, snips. Sorry, misunderstood. Yeah, that's alright, these things happen. Oh yeah, because Mattel took them to court for owning Stepney. They never took them to court. They threatened to. Sent them a cease and desist for owning Stepney. You can't have your locomotive called Stepney. He is our intellectual property. And the Bluebell responded with, I think you'll find our one's older than yours, and he's our intellectual property. The whole idea of intellectual property is abusive and ought to be abolished entirely. I would have no issue with that, James. There we go. And now we've got the other side to do. The other side where I have complete... Oh no, I think I can just about see the hole. I think it's just there. Why? Stepney was much older than the Railway series. I don't think they realise it's the same engine. Well, that was the problem, Max, is because, of course, you know, these big companies that own these things don't actually care about the brand or know anything about it. They assumed the Bluebell were ripping off the Railway series by having a terrier called Stepney, and sent the lawyers in. Well, that held well, didn't it? Maybe they don't want to know. Yeah, they don't care. The Stepney thing is a perfect example of why intellectual property shouldn't be a saleable item. A teller sitting there on a property that they know nothing about and don't care to know about. They just want money from it. But honestly, even if it wasn't for that, the Bluebell wouldn't want an E2. They're not a powerful enough engine for the line. Which is why Stepney has sat around awaiting overhaul for so long, because the Terriers aren't powerful enough anymore either. They'd rather use the Ps because they've got a bit more power. Well, there's none of them in service at the moment till 27 gets finished. Bluebell was withdrawn early because it was discovered that she had a big massive hole in her boiler, and Nettle only has one working piston. Just shows Mattel's arrogance. It does indeed, but it's not just them. Most big companies are like that these days. Unfortunately. I'm not sure what this is, but apparently it goes in that hole there. Let's see if we can find its name by its number. 47. No, no number 47 listed on there. Ah, that doesn't go all the way through either. I thought that hole went all the way through. last time I went to the Bluebell, yes, Puppy Class and Stepney were all running. Cool, that must have been a while ago. Stepney's been laid up for a while. They always say Stepney will run again, but as much as it pains me to say it, I'm not sure it's economically viable for them. So maybe it's time Stepney was stuffed and mounted permanently. I'd much rather see the Bluebell running locos that were going to make them money. Going to leave that for now and go on to the Westinghouse pump and bracket. Do, 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 do. 2013, yeah. Quite a while ago then. One of the reasons why I don't watch Big World Beers Venture now is too much propaganda. It's serious one thing like people, and that is because he's an American full fry. America? In Thomas? The reason I don't watch it anymore is because in a month's time I can't even say I'm 30 anymore. It'll just be I'm in my 30s and I feel old because I am old. This is going well. I messed up by putting too much solder on there and lost where the holes were. Actually wanted to leave the holes open. You can see that one. See the other one now. Yeah, if it's based on any classic generic American 440. Fair enough. Seems weird. It's not an American series. It's in Britain. Going so well. Cut the pips off. There we go. Now we won't worry about where the holes are. flux. Flux will help, because you can't have too much flux. Yeah, the bright American 440 in series. Thomas travels around the world. Literally, in the show, Audrey would have disapproved it. It's owned by Americans now, actually, so Thomas is owned by the Americans. Yeah. But that's the joys of progress, isn't it? And you say Audrey wouldn't approve. I don't think he actually approved of what Britt Allcroft did to it, because he never wanted the series to be about profit in any form whatsoever. He just wanted people to enjoy it. Right, there we go, it's on. Got there eventually. Now I just need to actually get it lined up so that this goes in its slot here. Like that. Which then falls off, of course it does. There it is. Quarter of an hour to go, everyone. Right, now it won't fall off. So we'll get the flux. There we go. Sorry, getting tired, been a long day. I'll watch the rest of the show though. Not a problem, Max, everyone gets tired. You know, it is 10 to midnight here now, so tiredness happens. Hydration is important. Hydration also happens. But we are so close to being where we want to be that it would be a shame not to get these last few bits done if we can before the end of the stream. These standpipes aren't holding very well, So I'm going to put some solder on the top of them as well. If they had longer legs, they'd hold better. There we go. That's going to hold then. 7:22 here, still late for me. Fair enough. Most of the parts left really don't want to go on until after the chassis has been built. I think it is just the buffers left that we can, realistically, that we can do. So I guess next week we'll have to work on the chassis. Won't that be fun? I hope it will. I'll have a closer look at the motors that we're going to be using, which are cheapy motors. I think they only cost me like 50p each, maybe not even that. No, I don't think they even cost that. I think the 5 that I got would cost £2. Yeah, sorry, it's actually around 6ish. The PC is half an hour ahead, fair enough. Still ask myself why American 4x4 cowcatchers have buffers. Really, it's really about 6:45. So look forward to the chassis. Yes, hopefully it's... I mean, it's a lot more complicated looking chassis than the other ones I have done from Southeastern Finecast, so I am too. I'm going to be looking forward to it, James. I think I'm going to have to study it through the week. There is some buffers on the front. That one's definitely not going to fit. It's really about 6:45. Yeah. There we go. They both fit now, so bit of flux. Oopsie. There we go. And the buffers are fitted. means I can turn the soldering iron off. It probably appreciates that after being on for nearly 3 hours. Again, tiredness, I normally go to bed around this time, so my brain's a bit fuzzy. Fair enough. Well, you know, but we finish in about 5 minutes. And let's take stock of where we are. So we have a very nice looking loco. All soldered, lots of detail, including a cab interior. Ah, that's what I was going to do, wasn't it? One of the whistles out of here to replace the one I dropped. We don't, so you know that we really will be done, won't we? Get a bit less flux so I can actually see what I'm doing for a change. Put it all away, there it is. Iron on again. Looking splendid, looks amazing. Spare parts are from Model spare parts. Thank you guys, it is, I'm very happy with it. And yes, spare parts boxes are very important. Unfortunately, every modeler can't have one because, of course, these are things that build up over time. And here's the problem with using the wrong safety valve. That's better. So there we have a very nice looking loco as we approach the last couple of minutes before midnight. A very nicely detailed looking chassis. I am rather looking forward to building this one actually. I probably will not compensate it because it looks to me like, you know, the rear wheel's got some up and down play in it. Can do the same on the front bogie. So being double O, which allows a fair amount of slop, I don't think there is any need for it to be fully compensated, even though the option is there. The thing that would be nice on it would be some representation of the inside valve gear, because there is quite a bit of space under there you can see through, so something under there would be nice. Maybe we could look at doing that. That could be interesting. So I am going to call time there, guys. It is as close to midnight as it needs to be. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. It has been absolutely wonderful being here with you this evening. And I hope you are learning a lot. So there will be a video up on the channel on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, so don't miss that. And I shall see you all next time. Thank you, good night, keep being awesome.